Welcome back. This is episode number 358 of the Healthy Diabetic Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Ken Kniss. If you don't know much about my story, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 25 in 2007. And I'm the founder of Simplifying Life with Diabetes, a diabetes health coaching company that bridges the gap between your medical team and the daily complexities that you face every single day living with this condition. I truly believe that every single one of us living or caring for someone with type 1 diabetes only has one job, and that's to figure out what's going to work for you. If you're looking for new perspectives and new ideas on how to live with diabetes, you've come to the right place. Before we get started, please remember that nothing that you hear in this podcast should be considered medical advice or otherwise. Please always consult a medical team before making any changes to your diabetes management. Okay, I'm here with my good friend, partner in crime, type 1 diabetic, Graham. This is another episode of our live show. We go live Mondays and Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if this is your first time listening to the recording, or maybe you're on the live right now, you can always log in or come on, ask us questions. This is one of the big things that we want to try to build in these lives is just having people come in, ask questions, interact with us, and let's have some really good conversations about diabetes. We talk about anything and everything diabetes on this show, and we really hope to inspire you to think differently about how you're managing your diabetes. So if you're brand new to the show, we are two type 1s that have almost 50 years. Yeah, 50 years of lived experiences with type 1 diabetes. So I hope that you enjoy this episode, and let's rock and roll. Graham, what's up? How you doing, man?
Yeah, Memorial Day went by. How was your Memorial Day?
It was good. It was good. Got some stuff done. Chilled a little bit. Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
good. Yeah. How was yours?
Did you edge? You do some edging?
No.
I'm kind of like obsessed with edging, bro.
Are you?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like in the beds and in the grass. It's just like that clean look, bro.
Man, it's so interesting that you say that. Like, I feel like that I want to do more around the house. Like, I want to fix stuff that needs fixed. I want to maintain things that need maintained. But I swear to God, and this has happened yesterday. Like, I mowed, we're recording this on Monday, and yesterday, was Sunday, and I usually do my outdoor chores, mowing, everything on Saturday, Sunday. I don't mind them, but there's something in that happens in the back of my brain when I'm doing these chores for an extended period of time, right? Half hour, 45 minutes, hour, no big deal. But when I'm doing this stuff for an extended period of time, I feel so much anxiety sometimes because I'm not working on something for the podcast, for my business, not posting, not looking at things, not breaking things down, not coming up with the next idea, not doing something for my clients at the gym. I have this anxiety, and it sucks because I don't want to do that on the weekends when I'm not really supposed to. I'm trying to not do any work stuff on Sundays. Do you get that way?
Yeah, this is funny. I was just talking to somebody that does a 15-minute power nap every day, and I let him talk about it, and I told him at the end, I go, you're gonna think this is so weird. I was like, the reason I would never in a million years take a power nap is others' perception of me taking said power nap. I get anxiety by the thought that my wife would come in here and see me sleeping. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Wow. If I had to take a nap, I pass out and just take a nap.
Yeah, but no, I guess my point is, yeah, I'm spot on as you. Do you call them chores while you're doing them? Or are there things that you actually enjoy? Like, it's nice when it's all said and done, like clean kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah, like cleaning the office, because my office and all of my clothes, my bathroom, all it's down here in the same room. So cleaning all that stuff up every single weekend, helping do the dishes, helping get things cleaned up so that they're nice, like doing the yard. As much as I don't necessarily love doing the yard, like when it's done and all those chores are done, like it makes you feel good.
Yeah, yeah. Do you, because lawn mowing is seasonal, do you see a drop in your blood sugar?
Sometimes.
I
I did
I
yesterday a little
I
bit, but that's
definitely
because
sorry to
it's because I
go
mowed
ahead.
right after I ate and took insulin.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I think there's something about the I think it's more you kinda lock in on getting the job done, and
Yeah.
it's seasonal, right? So it's not the act of what it is. It's that it's usually hotter,
Mhm.
and you're like, "Whatever, I'm just gonna push on through till I get it done," and there are 2 things I just told my wife and daughter yesterday that make me crash like none other. It's lawn care, and even when I vacuum the pool I have a pool. I know that sounds first world problems. But yeah, when I vacuum the pool, man, just because there's a lot of steps and you just want to keep going and you're kind of sweating and this
Yeah.
and that. So yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Hmm.
How's how's the diabetes life with you in the last 12 days?
The diabetes life is actually back on track, which is good. It's so it I'm glad we moved this conversation back to diabetes, but
I just made it
I
about diabetes and going,
yeah, you
oh,
did. You did. It's good. I think it's really interesting. The more I think about the we I always talk about like we need to make diabetes controllable, right? We don't need things to be out of our control. We need to be focused on the things that are in our control. But sometimes this condition just doesn't make any damn sense. And you could be running through months at a time, weeks at a time, and have amazing blood sugars, and then all of a sudden everything goes to shit, and now you have instability. Now you have ups and downs. Now you have the roller coaster, and you didn't change anything, right? That's literally what's happened to me 2 months ago, right? And I've been dealing the past 2 or 3 weeks with instability. But over the last 3 or 4 days, like got stability again. Blood sugars are amazing. I'm in 80 plus time in range. Like my blood sugars really haven't gone over 150. They've been down between 100 and, or, close to my target, which is 100. And I haven't changed anything. The only real thing is I mean, I guess I kind of changed something. The only real thing is I'm back to doing predominantly injections and not relying so much on Afrezza. So the last 2 times this has happened, I've been highly relying on Afrezza to take care of things. And it's so fast. It works so fast. It's out so fast. I just don't think that it's one, enough in the moment, and two, that it lasts long enough for the types of food that I eat.
I'm going, I got some news too. I'm going old
Yeah.
school, bro. I'm going
Yeah.
old school.
Okay, let's go.
No, I just made a decision that the CGM, it's just too in your face. It's always there. You always got to have your phone on you. It's just too
So
much. It's just
you're
too
going
much
back to
information.
you're going back to finger sticks.
I'm not going back, bro. I've experimented, gone back, and I'm just more mellow and happier. And you know what? I always think about you. It's funny because we've known each other for so long, but it's something you said recently about being aggressive with your with your
Boluses.
boluses.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's what I'll just, because I've been splitting my basil, which has been nice. But you gotta, man, that's the other thing is you gotta be on track of that, bro. If you miss one, it'll throw you off. And I miss, I'm still perfecting it, but it's really the best advice, man. It's really, really, really the best advice. But like I said yesterday, dude, I came in from mowing and I was 46.
Mhm.
It was like a fat bowl of cereal, dude. That's a lot. A big bowl of so it's like a multi-grain type of cereal with milk. Like that's a lot of carbohydrates, and it'll stick with you. I
Well,
don't
even
think I
the
went over
fat
like
too.
I,
The
and
fat
I
from
don't
the
think I
milk will
went over
stick.
like 150. So go ahead.
Yeah. No, the fat will also stick with you. So, but this is interesting, right? So, because we've talked a while. We've talked a while about the power of CGM and the importance of CGM and how CGM, I believe, can make things just work so much better. So, but
Mhm.
then you have Graham here who needs a break, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. I'm still on a pump break, and I like it. Doesn't mean I won't ever go back to an insulin pump. I have a good friend, Ginger Rivera. If you don't know her, look her up. She's amazing. Talks about a lot of really, really cool diabetes stuff. She runs Diabetes Nerd. And she's been on injections and Afrezza for probably as long as I've known her, and I've known her for at least 5 or 6 years, and she just went back on a pump for the first time in a long, long time because she just needed a break. It doesn't matter when these breaks come on. It doesn't matter if they're every 4 months, every 6 months, every year, couple years, 10 years, whatever it is. You're allowed to take a break, but you can't forget about the little things that you have to be focused on, right? So Graham's going back to finger sticks or just gonna dabble back into that, but he knows that he has to do a lot of finger sticks to get the results that he wants. And that's okay. But he has to know that he knows, and he knows that he's gonna have to do that.
Real
So,
quick,
yeah.
top 5 bullet points from AI. Why diabetics take CGM breaks, burnout, skin healing, physical liberation, supply logistical issues, intermittent use plans. I feel like I agree with.
All of them but the last one. I don't even know what that means.
I actually wonder if the liberation. I've never heard it put that way.
Oh my god, yes. How do
Probably
you feel,
true,
though? How do
and
you
that's
feel
what I
right
hated the
now? Like,
most
how do
about.
you feel right now?
That's what I hated. Hold on, that's what I hated the most about the pump. Was that
Mm.
how do I feel?
How do you
How do
feel
you
now that you are
feel?
not on a CGM and you're just using
It changes nothing.
finger
It
sticks?
honestly changes nothing, dude. Because
It
I'm
changes
super
nothing?
sensitive. I'm super insulin sensitive. I'm sensitive to my like lows and stuff. No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't change anything about my performance of diabetes. It's making me. I'm liking it right now. I needed this
Yeah.
right now. So for whatever reason, Why do you think? Do you think it's important that this is temporary,
Um,
like in the world that we
do I
live
think
in?
it's temporary?
No, no, no. That's not what I said. Do you think it's important that what I do is temporary?
No. I think it's important that your mental health stays in alignment, and I think that it's important that regardless of what you decide to do, this goes for everyone, regardless of what we decide to do with this condition, the most important thing is we do all of the things that we constantly always talk about, i.e., being in alignment with the 5 pillars. You know how many times you should test every single day. You're not just doing it once or twice a day. You know how many times, or you know how to actually dose for your insulin or for your food. You have your mental health in place. You have your mental health in place. Like all the things that we constantly talk about. If you're still focused on all those things, it does not matter what you're doing, whether it's not going to CGM, wearing a CGM, doing a Frezza, insulin pump, exercising, not exercising, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. If you are getting the results that you want and you can honestly be okay with those results, then who am I to argue with Graham about not wearing a CGM, which I think is stupid, but whatever.
I don't think it's
I
no.
don't think it's stupid, man.
I
Come on.
actually
You're
enjoy.
right.
I enjoy the conversation because within 2 seconds of looking it up, it's all about burnout and burnout and burnout and
Yeah,
burnout.
but that's the number one thing that we're with all of this that we're talking about, with all of the changes, with all of the taking time away, with all of that, burnout is the number one thing that we're trying to avoid because that is one of the number one things that puts people in such a bad place and doesn't allow someone to have really good tight knitted control and have great stability is burnout. And this kind of, now that we're talking about CGM, this kind of goes into one of the topics that I wanted to cover, which is what's the real truth about CGMs. And there's a lot of uproar right now, especially with Dexcom about CGMs. And that's since we're talking about CGMs,
Yeah, in what
let's
sense?
dive
I
into
don't.
this.
This will be fun for me. I don't know anything that you're
So
speaking of.
first, let's talk about the first thing. So what is the real truth about CGM? Okay, if you're new to this show, you probably haven't heard me talk about this before. If you've been listening for a long time, then you definitely have heard me talk about this. What is the truth about CGM? The truth about CGM is, I would say the ugly truth about CGM is that it's not 100% accurate, and we all know that. If you've been a diabetic for long enough, you've been using CGMs for long enough, they're not 100% accurate. At least all of the CGMs that I've tried in the past, they haven't always been 100% accurate. I.e., 2 days ago, mine was off 75 milligrams per deciliter. It said it was 200 and I think it was 59, and I was actually 159. It's like almost 100, but it was around 70 to 80, 75 to 80 milligrams per deciliter. And that's not a one-off over the past 3 months. That's not a one-off. So the problem becomes that these things aren't 100% accurate, which I understand from someone like Graham. When they're not 100% accurate, when you can't 100% trust them all the time, when you go through these spurts of you maybe get a set of CGMs and the lot numbers, like in Dexcom right now, where they've got all these lot numbers that are on back, or that are either expired, or that I think I heard some story the other day that there's a bunch of a specific lot number that was stolen and then given back or something like that, and that was supposed to, like, none of those were supposed to go out, and they still all went out, and they're all defective.
Oh.
So the hard part about using technology is, if you don't trust it, how can you use it to its full advantage? And its full advantage is to give you accurate data 24/7. That is the incredible thing about that technology. And Graham and I have had this debate before about what is the better technology, a glucose monitor, or a CGM. And I would 100% argue a CGM, because it gives you real-time data, where a glucose monitor does not give you real-time data. It's more accurate in the moment, but doesn't give you real-time data. So I think that that's kind of the ugly truth about CGM. It's not 100% accurate, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still the best option that we have. And I would 100% argue that every single person that's type 1 diabetic should be on one, i.e., unless you're Graham and you're trying to take a break. That's fine. But for the most part,
Sounds like a
we
lot of people are
we
taking.
should be on them, because it can give us incredible data. And most of the time, they're accurate. Most of the time, they're working the right way. Most of the time. So I would say that's kind of the ugly truth about CGM. Okay, what's the uproar right now? What
Hold
the
on, hold on.
uproar?
Wait, wait, wait,
Yeah,
wait,
go
wait,
ahead.
wait. I want to tell you an ugly truth, because
Okay.
I thought we might have just, said it, talked about, moved on. I am a little bit defeated, bro. Not gonna lie. So I'm not necessarily eager to put one on again. And one reason is because I got the 15-day and I got a 90-day supply. So that's 6. So 2 per month, right? Wait. Yeah, 2 times 3. 6 out of 6 failed before 15 days.
Wow. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a big problem.
And not only
That
that, but I
actually
was
failed, or like they got ripped off, or
not a okay, one or 2 did. Every single other one, day 10, 11, 12 fail.
so 4 out of 6 failed.
Yeah, and when I was laughing. I was wondering, I was like, are they gonna play like the dumb, play like the stupid card? Like, yeah, we don't have record of that. When at the end of the day, like, I sure as hell damn guarantee they have record that all 6 of mine.
Well, yeah, because they can look up the data now. They're connected to your actual profile. Your profile is connected to all of your data, which is why if you call them, or even if you try to do a replacement on the app, it will tell you, like, it'll give you a list of the last 2 or 3,
Yeah,
or it'll give you I think that they give you the list of the last 2, right? So if you just took one off because it failed or whatever, didn't work, it's bleeding, whatever the cause is, you took it off early and put a new one on and activated the new one, it'll have both of those last 2. It'll have the activated one and then the one that just failed on the screen. And you got to pick which one you're trying to get a replacement from. So they have all your data.
dude.
Dexcom has all your data. So
And I was wondering
yeah.
that. I was even wondering if they could geolocate, because you'll see that and then 2 of the 6, I was out of town when they failed.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's again, it's connected to that to your Dexcom profile. It's not connected
No,
to
no,
your
no, 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 no,
location.
but I'm saying in the 90 days that I've had those, 2 different times I was out of town and my CGM failed. As in I better have had strips because
Well, you should, but if you're out of town anyway, that should
I'm
be
just
part of
saying.
your
That's annoying, bro. I was a little bit not gonna lie, I was like I felt a little defeated by that,
yeah.
you know?
And 100%, you should feel I mean, I can understand why you feel defeated in that moment. I over the last 2 months and I've had so much irregularity. Yeah, irregularity between my CGM and a finger stick. It's been crazy. Never I would say in the last 3 months, never in the time that I've been using Dexcom, from the G5 to the G6, in the time that I've been using Dexcom, which has been probably close to 8 years, I've never had inconsistency like I have the last 3 months. So something's going on. Something's going on. I don't know what it is, but something's going on. And I feel for everyone because this is not an isolated incident. So many people I'm seeing it on social media. So many people are really irritated with not just Dexcom, but with CGM in general and the inaccuracies and stuff like that. And I think that it's important to one, have yourself or understand, I guess, understand that it's okay to feel that way. And two, understand or try to figure out what your options are. Right? Graham, he decided to go back to finger sticks. Me, I would personally try to go to a different CGM before I went back to finger sticks because I don't want to do 12 to 15 to 16 finger
Yeah.
sticks a day, which is what I feel like for me to be successful, to have the blood sugars I want. I feel like that's what I would have to do is do 12 to 16 finger sticks a day. I don't want to have to go back to do that. So for me, I've been even thinking about my next appointment, I think, is in 2 months with my endo. I might try the Abbott Libre Plus, the Abbott Libre 3. I might try that.
That's the next
I've been
best,
think
the lead 3?
it's not that it's the next best, it's just another CGM, right? So
It's
the
not a
other
bad
one I've been
idea. It's not a bad idea. Why am I complaining? That's exactly what I should do, dude.
right? So it just for me, that's the next step for me
Yeah.
that I would
Yeah.
do, right? Because I want the data. Like, I want the real time, all day data. I don't have I don't have CGM fatigue from looking at my CGM all day. I don't look at my CGM all day. There's sometimes when I eat, I take I'm very aggressive with insulin. I'll take a bunch of insulin. I'll look at my CGM 3, 4 hours later. I'm like, oh shit, that wasn't enough insulin. I gotta take some more. Or, oh, why do I feel so tired? Why do I why do I feel like crap? Oh, I'm like plummeting. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't have that fatigue. So I'm not worried about this the fatigue of looking at of the number all the time. I want that number. I want to know what the number is. So for me, again, like going back to the glucose monitor and having to do 12 to 16 a day, like I'm not at that point of frustration that I'm just gonna say screw CGM in general.
Uh, my answers and my reasons for things are so stupid, I get that, but I just love charging my phone at home, and it's like a house phone, you know? Like, you just charge it at home and leave. I
Oh,
kinda miss that I kinda miss that
yeah.
feeling, you know?
But still,
That's really
but even
that's
if you
all
do
that it
that,
really is for me, you know?
you still have to take something with you.
Yeah, I always have a pa I always I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so that for me, that's what it is, right? So it's like, okay, I can leave my phone here if I'm going for a run or whatever. If I'm going to,
Mhm.
like you do that a lot. Like you don't have to take your phone, but also even if you're on a CGM, like you don't have to take your phone anyway, right? Even if you're on a CGM, you don't have to take your phone on that run, right? Like when I was down at your place and we went for that run, did you take your phone? when I was
Yeah,
down,
because I'm always
I took
afraid. That's the other
mine.
thing. I'm afraid that my CGM will miscalibrate if I don't have it on me.
It's not gonna miscalibrate, it's just gonna
I know.
return the data
Again,
back to the
that's another.
app.
Hence why I'm just like, whatever. I'll
Yeah, I get
ease
it.
into this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'm curious to what everyone else thinks, like, with this.
Let's 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 play gut. Let's play gut. Trust your gut. What seems like the obvious answer? Too
To
much.
what? To what?
To whatever you said, something's going on with CGM. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, man,
I
I don't
think
know
this
what
is
the
back to what
obvious
I
answer
said.
is.
Go back to what I said before we started doing this live. I think Dexcom wanted to rule the market, bro, and everybody. I just don't think. I don't think. What's the word for this? It's just like the makeup of something being inserted in you doesn't need to really go past even a week, in my opinion. I almost feel like changing every 7 days feels a little bit better and in terms of just letting it go and sit there. And I mean, I have nothing but I have nothing but, if I was a trial run, I'd kind of come back with, shit news for them, I guess. I'd be like, like, let's keep going. But,
Yeah.
what would be the obvious to you? Because to me, that's what it seems like, the technology, and you also want to, like, for whatever reason, they got big into this device that gets thrown away, which I am also old school, where, when you inserted your pump, you had a gun. Like, I don't know if that's still a thing. Like, you have like a gun that you keep at home that you put your pump side in. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, I guess I'm surprised that was, I don't know. I think there's a
But
lot of business decisions. I think there's a lot of men sitting around a table talking about margins and
well, of course,
cheapest
it's a
and how do you
business.
stay.
Yeah, of course, it's a business. But here's the thing that I think that we had this
Mhm.
conversation before. But here's the thing that I would say to this, right? Because you're asking me, what do I think the issue
Yeah.
is? I think there's a variety of issues. I think the first issue is that it is a money thing, 100%. It's a business. It's a business,
You mean like
right?
branding? They want to have their name out there
No, no,
as
no,
this.
no, no, not
Okay.
branding. Not branding. It's a business thing. And when you have the supply and demand and you're trying to constantly innovate, okay, there's going to be faulty mechanics. You're going to have things that are going to break. You think about all the things that could potentially happen that's not going to allow that CGM to last 10 or 15 days. The cartridge is messed up. The gun that puts it into, as Graham says, gun, right? The gun that puts it into your skin is faulty, or it goes in the wrong way, or it hits the tissue the wrong way, or it bleeds, or you rip it off, or it just malfunctions and doesn't last, right? There's so many different factors that can happen in that moment. You sweat so much, you're a big sweater, and you aren't very good with the adhesive, right? So they fall off really easily, right? Which is why you got to wear extra over patches or something like that. You are allergic to the adhesive. There's so many factors that go into this. And when you have such a supply and demand like Dexcom has, things are going to happen. The problem is, from what I'm hearing from some of the news stories, the fact that they understand that these are problems, and the fact that things come up, like this lot number needs to be recalled, right? Just throwing stuff out there. This lot number needs to be recalled. Okay, so we're going to make a decision. Either we're going to recall these thousands and thousands of lots, these thousands and thousands of sensors in this specific lot, or we're just going to leave them out in the public, and some of them will work, some of them won't work. And then we'll do quality control when our patients call in and need to get replacements, we'll send them replacements. To them, that's a better business thing than just saying, shit, okay, thousands and thousands of dollars at 800 some dollars a pop. Man, that's a lot of money. Right? So I don't know if that's happening, But that could be something that's happening. They're making a business decision in that moment. For me, the problem with that, if that is happening, for me, the problem with that is when you have faulty mechanics, i.e., the CGM says you're 150, but you're actually 67 and falling, 67 coming down softly. I'm someone that doesn't feel lows. That could be a serious thing that could happen because I'm relying on the technology to tell me if I'm low. I'm relying on the technology to have an alarm go off compared to my settings. That's a problem. If I have a problem with highs and the CGM says I'm 150 and I'm actually 250 and I'm continuously going up, that's a problem. Now I could potentially go into DKA. My life could be threatened here by any of this stuff that happens. That's where I draw the line. And that's where I don't know what's exactly happening, but that's where I could see this becoming a really, really bad thing. If they're holding back lot numbers, if they're holding back sensors, if they're knowingly doing some of these things, I have no idea. And this isn't just for Dexcom, this is for any of the CGM companies, any of the insulin companies, any of the pump companies. It's the same idea. Because in a time, in a world, right, that we live in now, where most people are getting on a CGM and a pump to communicate together, to have a closed loop system, to have a system that they can basically take their hands off of because the algorithms are becoming very, very intelligent. They're becoming very good. If I have a good stable blood sugar in terms of, or not stable blood sugar, if I have a really good sensor on and it's working properly and it's very accurate, that system is going to work very, very well. But just like we just talked about with if I'm 150, if the CGM says I'm 150, but I'm actually 67 and I'm going down a little bit, it could still potentially give me insulin. Or on the flip side, I'm 100 and the CGM says the CGM says I'm 100, I'm actually 150 and I'm continuing to go up, but the CGM doesn't think that I'm going to go over the target, so it's not going to give me insulin. This is faulty mechanics. That could be a very big problem. And I think that this is why it is so important to not just rely on the system, but also rely on your intuition, but also your feelings. That's the only other things that we can do. Because what I don't want is what I got into 2 months ago. What I don't want is for people to completely distrust their technology. Now they're having to double and triple check the technology all the time. Oh, my CGM says I'm 120. I'm getting ready to go out for a run. I've got a unit of insulin on board. Man, am I really 120? I don't know. I don't know if I trust this thing. Should I eat something? Should I not eat something? I don't know. Now it makes our decision-making process even harder. Because not only we're trying to make a decision based off of a number we see on a screen, but we're also distrusting that number and distrusting ourselves. So now we have to do a finger stick. Now we have to, do we even trust that number? I did a finger stick a couple weeks ago. I had to do 4 of them in a row and I got 4 different numbers. So something's going on there. I don't know. So it's a hard pill to swallow. And I don't have the answer because I don't want to sit here and say that we should get rid of CGM or CGM is not the answer, because it 100% is. It would just be nice if you could rely on it as more, at least than I feel like, than I can right now. I can't tell you how many people are commenting on posts I'm making about CGMs, telling them that their Dexcom isn't working, or their Abbott Libre is not working, or their Medtronic Guardian's not working, or whatever isn't working properly, their pump's not working properly, or whatever. It's crazy. But then we're relying on this stuff to keep us safe.
What I predict, because of its like exercise hacking element that people use the CGM for. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be like Bluetooth headphones. You're going to hear
Mm.
about them and they're going to be expensive. And then all of a sudden you're going to get on Amazon and be like, oh, I can just get them for $30. And I think that's what's going to happen with CGMs. I think it's just going to be mainstream. People are going to make them overseas for pennies. And then it's going to be, I don't know, some diluted system that I don't know. We
Yeah.
may truly never know what our blood sugar looks like without, I mean, I don't know. I just can't see how it wouldn't be that. I bet you if I looked on Amazon right now, there are CGMs, bro. Why wouldn't there? Like,
So here,
why
but
wouldn't there be? Here,
because
keep talking.
so this is the look. Look, I don't think there. I think you're gonna find like the big four, big three CGMs. The problem is FDA. No, not even that's the problem, but that's the hiccup of where you're not gonna see a bunch of other devices like like a continuous glucose monitor
No,
pop
bro,
up
look
on
right here.
Amazon.
Lingo continuous glucose monitor made by Abbott.
Yeah, which is the type.
I can have it overnight, bro.
Yeah, which
It's
is
here by 4 a.m.
yes, but that's made by Abbott, which is one of the big three. Just like Abbott Libre, the Lingo is a
Okay.
different type of CGM than the Abbott
I
or
guess
than the Lingo or than the.
my point being some precious technology you can just get off Amazon now because
But you can't. But you're not going to be
it's a
able to get a
hack.
CGM
People are
off
using
Amazon
it as
because.
a
So let me finish this. So the reason you can't get this stuff off of Amazon, the reason you can't get this, can't just me and you couldn't just like build a CGM tomorrow and start selling it because it has to go through
okay.
FDA approval
Okay.
because it is a medical device.
Sure.
That's why you won't see that.
Understood.
You know what I mean? That's the only
Yeah.
reason you won't see that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the regulation or what you have to do a blood sugar monitor, right? I think it's kind of the same idea because it is a medical device, but that's the reason you're not going to see a bunch of these things pop up everywhere that are going to be for the pennies on the dollar because the amount of money that has to be spent to get these through FDA and get them approved for human trials, get them approved for human use it's a lot of money.
Let's use this conversation to jump into something else we had put aside and wanted to talk about. What do you think a
Yeah.
CGM? What do you think a CGMs look like in developing countries? What do you think? Where do you think CGMs stand in a hierarchy of solving? If it comes to people are in in very secluded locations and it's difficult to get the medicines and things like that, is it more important to get them the medication, or is it important to try to get them extra care and get them hooked up to some type of technology because
I think it will.
here's the thing, no matter who you are, we're two type ones nerding out on this topic. Anybody's going to be like, oh, well, it's saving lives. That's the most important thing is the
But
nighttime
saving
coverage,
lives
right?
could be thought about in either of those concepts, technology
Uh-huh.
versus medication.
Uh-huh.
It depends on the condition, it depends on all that stuff. If we're just talking third world countries, underdeveloped countries with type 1, then regardless of the technology, it's going to be the medication. It's going to be the insulin because you need insulin no matter what for type
So,
1. If you're
but I
talking
guess
type 2, that's a different story. That's a debate that should be had.
so. I guess that's my question. How far away would a CGM, if at all, would ever be?
Well, I think the other piece to that is what does the regulatory body look like in that underdeveloped country? Because regardless a underdeveloped country, regardless of what country that is, if they have a regulatory body in that country, a Dexcom, an Abbott Libre, a Medtronic Guardian, an Eversense 365 still has to go through their FDA. which is why those the continuous glucose monitors aren't really in underdeveloped countries, because either there isn't a regulatory body or it's hard to get supplies to those areas. And it's the same with insulin too. Right? So it's like if it's an underdeveloped country, it's just as hard to get insulin to those underdeveloped countries, which is a very sad thing.
Even more so because of the heat.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
It's such
So
a weird thing that most people don't
yeah.
take into
100%.
account, you know?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, if you're talking Africa, if you're talking, 100%.
This says the number of global T1D cases is rising quickly, especially in lower income settings due to increasing diagnosed incident, especially, and population growth.
Does it tell you a percentage of adult?
I mean, there's all, I mean, like you can
adolescent?
dive into this, but let's go back and just like listen to that, because it seems obvious, but more people are getting tested, so more people are finding out they're diabetic.
Well, that's part of it. Yes, that's
It's just crazy.
100% part of
I
it.
know.
But that's not the
I
only
know.
thing that's
I
not
know.
the
I'm
only
just
thing
saying
that's driving that.
but that was in a conclusion part of this study. I mean, I have a full-on study here that we put aside. It still says it's most frequently occurring form of diabetes in children and adolescents, though.
Which is not the case anymore. When is that study? Does it say when that study was published?
Hold on,
Or when that was published? Because that, from the last stats that I saw, it's about 60% type 1 diagnosis right now in adults.
Okay,
But
listen,
I think it's 23 and older.
This is pretty cool. It is now understood that type 1 diabetes generally commences with development of islet cell autoantibodies, often some years before clinical onset, though in some African and South Asian populations, currently used autoantibodies are less likely to be positive than among European populations, even in individuals with low C-peptide.
Yeah.
So,
do you know why?
like, huh?
Do you know why? So, just so I'm clear, okay? Let me just make sure I understand. Hold on.
You want me to say it again?
No. Just tell me if I'm correct by stating what I think this is saying. So, what this is saying is, in underdeveloped countries like something like Africa, okay, compared to like a country like the UK or the United States that are developing countries, there are more cases that are happening in places like UK and US, developed countries. And those people that are getting tested for antibodies in the underdeveloped countries like Africa, those countries are the people that are being tested tend to have a lower C-peptide than the people that are in the developed countries. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah. I mean, it's impossible to say it back without saying a lot, but
yeah. So
yes.
This is how I take this. Okay, we know for a fact. Okay, I don't want to say facts. I'm not a doctor. We know, at least I believe I know, that type 1 diabetes, autoimmune conditions are caused by a trigger, whatever that trigger might be. Whether that trigger is a stress on the body, whether that trigger is food related, whether that trigger is sickness, trauma, stress, whatever it might be. We know that it's caused by some type of trauma. And that trauma could be a compounded amount of trauma over time. And that trauma could be a compounded amount of things. So when you think about that, and you think of an underdeveloped country like, we'll just use Africa as the example, what are a lot of what are a lot of those people doing? They're still hunting and gathering. They're not eating tons of ultra processed foods. They're not trying to put, they're not like so stressed out about making money and putting food on the table and providing a household over top of their family. I mean, that's probably some of stress that they have, but they don't live as stressful life as developed countries. I don't believe. I could be totally wrong. But when you think about the foods that they're consuming, how they're getting their foods, right? A lot of those countries are not getting the same type of foods that we're consuming. And I think that is where it dramatically comes into play of why developed countries we're seeing a big uptick in autoimmune conditions, not just type 1 diabetes, because of the foods that we're consuming, because of how we're living our lives, because of how stressed we are as human beings. Life is hard. It's not easy. And I think that becomes a compounded trigger over time that is causing type 1 diabetes.
What do you feel about 10 years from now, more people globally getting on pills that would suppress the immune system to fight the chances of, or taking a vaccine that would help suppress the chances of something like autoimmune disease, like a type 1 diabetes?
Okay, cool. But guess what? When you suppress one thing, guess what's gonna happen?
I'm
You're
just
gonna get
okay.
other
I know.
things.
I'm not,
You
I'm
know?
not, I'm just asking. Like, what do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think?
yeah.
If like, could you see that becoming something?
I hope not. God, I hope not.
Because
I
that's what
really
that
do.
Tzield, that's what that Tzield is, right? You realize that, right?
Which
We
one?
talked about this, right?
TZO for Vertex? Because it's not.
No, this
Oh,
is
you
the
know, no, TZO after you get
Teplis.
tested. Yeah,
Yeah.
after you get tested. Yeah. So TZO,
So
it's not
it's an
for,
antibody immunotherapy,
yeah. So yes. So
monoclonal antibody
monoclonal antibody
immunotherapy. It
therapy, correct.
targets and calms specific T cells to stop them from destroying the insulin producing beta cells in your pancreas,
Correct. You know what else can calm that? You
calming
do,
the brain.
do you wanna know what else can calm? Not 100%, but you know what else can calm those T cells from attacking
You're gonna
the
say something
body?
like witch hazel or something.
No.
Red
Living
rice wine vinegar.
no.
What?
Having your mental health in place, eating good quality foods, getting exercise, getting enough sleep, being hydrated, doing all the shit that we're supposed to do as human beings anyway. That can calm it. Will it stop it? I'm not a doctor. I can't say that, but it 100% can calm it. 100%. So my whole thing with this is TZ okay, cool. People, it's good for the population. I wouldn't take it. I
Well,
wouldn't have my kids
especially if
take it.
you show symptoms and then start taking it, and it
But here's the thing with this, Graham, and I get it. I 100% get it,
bro,
especially
you're showing
as
symptoms. If you're showing symptoms,
hold on. No, it doesn't. But it's not taking away your symptoms. It's not. It's not. It's not allowing you not to get type 1 diabetes. It's just delaying the inevitable. If you want that, great.
well,
If
it'll
I'm a
get
parent,
better, won't it?
what?
It'll get
How
better,
would it
won't
be
it?
better?
It
How
will
would it
get
be better?
better in time.
What will get better in time?
The makeup of this drug that they're using,
Okay, cool.
they
Just I
perfect
like
it
it.
in
Just
time.
like things can get better, just like everything can get better. Politics can get better.
But it can
I don't see what's
always get
happening.
worse. But it can also get
Everything can
worse.
always get better. Everything can always get better if you have the right things in place, right? 100%. We can sit here and say that TZL is going to get better over time. But again, right now, of what we have, it delays the inevitable. And maybe that's okay.
So
Maybe that's okay for a parent. If I'm a parent and I don't know shit about diabetes and I want to be able to allow my child to live the next 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is, without being type 1 diabetic. Now I've got a couple years, 3 years, however long it's going to be to kind of learn, now be educated. Cool. It can help that family 100%. But here's the thing that I'm going to say about this. Anytime you add any type of drug like this into the system, whether you're looking at this as the auto or not autoimmune, but whether you're looking at this as a drug that's going to be an immunotherapy thing where it's going to hinder the immune system, now your system is can be attacked by other things. Not for an autoimmune condition, but your system can be attacked by other things because your autoimmune system isn't working properly. It's delaying the process of the immune system attacking the T cells.
Okay, let's play the reverse game where you and I walk back in reverse and I re-ask my question to you, and I want you to think about what I'm saying. If in 10 years from now we find out the logistics of getting medicine, getting anything to a progressing, call it a third world country, is really, really hindering and limiting diabetics, and there is more and more of an epidemic happening, why wouldn't it make sense to take a one-off vaccine instead of ever having to? You take a one-off and then it's poof, it's gone. The threat of it goes away.
But the threat of it isn't going away. Are you
No,
talking about taking a vaccine? Are you talking about, hold on, are you talking about taking a vaccine like in 10 years, whatever it is?
Yeah.
Are you saying take a vaccine and you'll never get type 1 diabetes again?
My question was earlier, I go, don't you think it seems possible that it's more believable, it seems more doable that there is just eventually in 10 years a vaccine for type 1 or diabetes versus trying to logistically get insulin to a, it seems like that's, to me, is would be the goal here.
I hope that's not the goal.
It's just a patch. It's all just a patch right now,
No, so I hope that's not the goal.
Well, I would believe it to be. I would think like there's a number of vaccines that are just one-offs, and I think this is exactly.
I don't think that is the case, because most of the vaccines that we have that are one-offs like that are for viruses and stuff like that. So this is a much trickier thing. So what I do believe that could be what I do believe could happen, we're already seeing the possibilities of this, is what the Eladon trial is what they're looking at with stem cells, which is what they're looking at right now with trying to cure type 1 diabetes. The problem, again, is the immunosuppressant piece, because anytime that you introduce something like that into the system, you're going to have other problems. I believe you're going to have other problems. Maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's 15 years, maybe it's 20 years. I don't know. And maybe you're not. Maybe you won't have problems. But there's a lot of things that have to go right for all of this amazing research that's going on right now to happen. I think that is more doable and more, what I want to say, more believable, more hopeful than just creating a vaccine that we don't know what's in the vaccine. We don't know what it's going to do. We don't know any of that stuff. I mean, but it's the same thing with this. It's the same thing with this right now. It's like, we don't know what's going on with this. Like, it's brand spanking new. Like, we're still going through the trials. We're still going through all experimentation. So that's how I kind of think about it.
I would say, to me, in my opinion, it's very clear to me that we will be forgotten, as in the cure is going to be a little bit more difficult and a little bit more complex, but finding a sword to put in the sand for populations to come, that will be the endeavor, in my opinion, with type 1 diabetes.
I think that this cure will be the endeavor. Maybe TZO will get better.
I don't think the cure really matters. Like, bro, if you look at the numbers, there's only a couple million of us, man. Ken, hold on.
Dude, that's crazy.
Just to talk. No. But we're talking in actual numbers. We are people that have doing it for a very long time. What it gets nothing. It gets, why help 5 million when you could help hundreds and hundreds of millions?
Well, what do you think they're going to do? What do you think these trials are doing? These trials and these cures that they're trying to come up with aren't just to help me and you. It's to help the future generations.
If it's preventative, right? Like, is a vaccine a cure, or is it just preventative measure?
A vaccine is neither.
No, it's preventative measure, bro.
No, it's not.
Yes,
it's not preventable measure.
It's the root of what a vaccine is.
Preventable measure, right?
A preventative.
It's a preventable measure for what?
Preventative.
It's a preventative measure for what?
As in, you put it in place to prevent something from happening, like what's happening right now in Africa with Ebola.
Yeah, i.e., all these other things start happening to the population because of side effects of the vaccine. It doesn't happen for everyone 100%, but it is documented that this happens.
I think it's pretty obvious that's just what's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to
It
happen.
took me a long
I
time to
think the
see it
cure,
that
I
way.
think a specific cure of,
Bro,
okay,
it'll be
you are
like getting a boob
you're
job.
getting
You'll need
diagnosed
like
with type 1
20K.
diabetes, but
You'll need
hey,
like,
we can do X, Y, and Z to prevent this from happening or to prevent your beta cells to get destroyed. We can do X, Y, and Z. Hey, you've been diabetic for 10, 15, 20 plus years. Hey, we finally got this cure. And now your beta cells can start working again in some fashion, either by transplant new beta cells or whatever it is. And we're going to bring this drug into play, or we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and your beta cells aren't going to get killed off. Like that's the future of it. That's the future of it, I think. Diabetes, type 1 diabetes is too complex to create a vaccine of a one-off, I think. Because just like just because you take a vaccine of a one-off doesn't mean that you've changed behavior or you've changed things that are happening that created that trigger. Something happened that created the trigger. And whatever it is, whether it was in your control or out of your control, something happened that created the trigger for an autoimmune condition. And this, obviously in this case, we're talking type 1 diabetes. Something happened either in your control or out of your control. They can't predict that. They can't build something that's going to alleviate that uncontrolled trigger. I don't believe that they're going to be able to do that. I could be wrong.
yeah, you're wrong.
I don't think I'm wrong, but okay.
As it always goes.
Yeah, okay.
As it always goes.
As it always goes. Good talk, man. This is, I always enjoy having these debates and these conversations with you because we don't see eye to eye on a lot of this stuff, which is good because we can actually sit here and have conversation back and forth, bring different perspectives to the table and just, have conversation, have fun with it. So
I think we know, they always say like, know thy contracts, know thy craft. Like, I do think it's very unique what we bring to it,
yeah.
I think it's reality. I always think about that,
Yeah.
There's no sugarcoating it, right?
There isn't any sugarcoating it because it's like you said about AI in our last conversation, it's here to stay. Like it's here. Like the research, the innovation, it's here and it's happening fast. Whether what we have in place right now is going to be what the cure actually looks like or not, the cure I think is going to happen within our lifetime. It potentially could. It really potentially could. That's how crazy this stuff that's going on right now is. So we'll see what happens. It's a really cool thing about it. But the last thing I'll say to that, don't wait around for the cure. Please. If you are type 1 diabetic right now, you're listening to this and you're hearing us say like, hey, the cure could be within our lifetime. That could be in 10 years. It could be in 20 years. It could be in 60, 70, 80 years. It could. I don't know. But the most important thing is you take care of yourself. If you take care of yourself and you take care of your diabetes right now, nothing is going to get in your way. So,
you know what there's not a cure to?
What's that?
When my butt has to go, it has to go, bro.
God, dude.
I gotta go.
Serious?
Love you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Graham's out, and we'll see you guys later.